What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Thursday afternoon. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm bringing you some coaching news surrounding the New York Mets, as today they have officially hired 12-year veteran, big league veteran, Eric Hinske, former slugger for the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees and Atlanta Braves, to their coaching staff, as he will now be joining as an assistant hitting coach to Jeremy Barnes, who is just promoted from assistant hitting coach to the hitting coach after former hitting coach Eric Chavez got promoted to bench coach, who got replaced Glenn Sherlock, who was the original bench coach, and he was now promoted to being a catching and strategy coach for the catching position. Hinske, of course. Hinske was a 12-year major league hitter for the Toronto Blue Jays, Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, 1 year with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then he ended his career back in 2013. Then he played with the Atlanta Braves and ended his career at age 35 with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hinske actually was a hell of a player at the beginning of his career. In fact, his first year of his career, he had hit 24 home runs and drove in 84 RBIs all the way back in 2002 for the Toronto Blue Jays in his first year. And he had some pretty decent years in the major leagues. He had a couple of years where he drove in over 20 to 20 home runs. A couple of years where he drove at least 60 or plus RBIs in. Best year of his season obviously came in his rookie year in 2002. Had a couple of years where he drove in over 60, but otherwise that Hinske was more of a backup. It was more like a depth first baseman, if anything, in DH. In terms of his coaching career, he ended up being over with as a hitting coach all the way back in 2018 with the Los Angeles Angels, where ironically Billy Eppler was all the way back in 2018. And then when Eppler became general manager in 2021 in November, it's no surprise that Hinske ended up becoming an assistant hitting coach over there with New York Mets. Obviously, the correlation between the two. Hinske was also a first base coach of the Chicago Cubs all the way back in 2014, and he was an assistant hitting coach from the Cubs from 2015 to 2017 before he made his way over to Arizona after his stint with the Los Angeles Angels in 2018. He went over as an assistant hitting coach from 2019 to 2021 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then he ended up just taking a year off after that before he joins the New York Mets as an assistant hitting coach to Jeremy Barnes. Now, obviously, the New York Mets did a lot of shuffling on their coaching staff this past offseason, as Dom Chidi has become the bullpen coach now for the New York Mets. Obviously, Glenn Sherlock was originally the bench coach for the New York Mets. Now that's occupied by Eric Chavez. Eric Chavez was the former hitting coach. Now that's occupied by Jeremy Barnes, with Eric Hinske now as assistant over there. Glenn Sherlock has now been moved to a catching and strategy coach. Obviously, it's going to have a lot to do with the development of young prospect Francisco Alvarez now. And Showalter's coaching staff also includes Jeremy Hefner, who's coming back as the pitching coach. You got Jeremy Barnes as the hitting coach, Joey Cora, who's the infield and third base coach, Wayne Kirby, who's the outfield and first base coach. You have Danny Barnes as the assistant major league coach. And obviously you have now Eric Hinske as the assistant hitting coach, and you have Glenn Sherlock as the assistant, as the catching and strategy coach for the New York Mets, as well as Dom Chidi, who is now the bullpen coach. You can't really hurt if you have a guy like Eric Hinske as your assistant hitting coach. This guy's had success in the major leagues, and this guy could provide some good help for some of these younger hitters on the New York Mets. Maybe he could help out with Pete Alonso to become a more of a consistent hitter instead of just a power guy, because he does struggle with some inside pitches. He does struggle sometimes with the fastball. He's not a complete hitter, Pete Alonso. Maybe he could help out with a Daniel Vogelback, even though Vogelback's more of a veteran. Maybe he could help out with Francisco Alvarez as he gets more developed into the league. Brett Beatty coming up. So I don't mind this hiring of Eric Hinske as an assistant hitting coach. The guy obviously has a lot of experience in terms of being a hitting coach already with previous teams like the Los Angeles Angels as well as the Arizona Diamondbacks and, of course, the Chicago Cubs. So this does not hurt to bring in a guy like Eric Hinske to help out in terms of being a hitting coach to Jeremy Barnes. So this is a very solid move by the New York Mets, bringing in Eric Hinske as an assistant hitting coach for this baseball team. I think it's a solid move. I think it's a good move. We'll have to see how much he's going to help out this hitting group going into the 2023 season. But it continues the shuffling around of New York Mets coaches since the beginning of this offseason. We'll have to wait and see what the role Eric Hinske is going to make for this New York Mets hitting team going into the 2023 Major League Baseball season. So that's just my news I wanted to give you guys today. Eric Hinske, former 12-year Major League Baseball player, has now been signed to the New York Mets and is assistant hitting coach to hitting coach Jeremy Barnes going into the 2023 Major League Baseball season. So if you like this video, hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter surrounding the New York Mets. Turn on the bell for notifications. The next video or short they'll be dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Mets. And let me know in the comment section what you think about the New York Mets hiring former 12-year Major League Baseball player Eric Hinske as assistant hitting coach to Jeremy Barnes for this 2023 Major League Baseball season. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. Take it easy and let's go, New York Mets. All you got to do is you got to believe in those boys from Queens.